Connors, Degrassi, Unpopular Opinions. So today we're going to take a look at the unpopular opinion that someone talked about 10 days ago. And for context, this is being taped on August the 20th, 2022. And Beanie Weenie, 123, sounds like a novelty song, said, do you think Rick deserved a second chance? And says, I've been thinking about this. What are your thoughts? So basically the title of this one is Rick, do you think Rick deserved a second chance? Well, it could be a hot take too. I think it is an unpopular opinion / hot take in a sense. Well, I'll tell you my feelings, but I'm going to talk about other people. Busy Imagination said, I wouldn't have given it to him. It proved that his violent streak was far from over. He was unbalanced and should have been institutionalized instead of just seeking counseling. He had issues. He shouldn't have gone back to school where he started trouble. He should have started somewhere new. Ratch was an idiot for letting him back and not helping him when he was bullied. If this was done today, he would not have been allowed to be principal. And someone said he had one and he blew it. No pun intended. Someone said, I think he needed help. Going back to Degrassi without any meaningful intervention was a poor decision. It was a bad decision anyway to go back to Degrassi. He should never have came back. So no, the way the Degrassi kids treated him upon his return was expected and completely normal, but there was something going on with him that could have been helped. Yeah. And Beanie Weenie said, it seems that he had no serial interventions before returning to school. You'd think Terry's family would have filed a lawsuit. And Terry's domestic abuse was not taken as seriously as it should have been. I know she had left to show, but still. Regardless of Raj thinking it's a bad idea for Rick's sake for him to be let back at school and letting him happen, why didn't he think about how dangerous it would be for the other girls at Degrassi? I'm surprised the parents didn't get involved in all that. It was a domestic violence situation, not Rick's anger problems. So, anyway, someone even said that it could have been possible for him to start over and have a second chance at another school, and he should never have been back to Degrassi. With the help of a therapist, anger management sessions, and an environment, he could have grown and all that. Anyway. Yeah, a lot of people were basically saying that, he came back to the school and Terry's friends expected to forgive him and all that. Some people even said that, there were a lot of problems and all that. Yeah, there were a lot of people who actually said yes, he deserved a second chance, but at another school. So that's it. That's the thing. You don't have to say, well, does Rick deserve a second chance? You say yes. But there's always another reasoning. But you add on to it, saying that at another school. It's not a full yes at Degrassi. It's a yes, but somewhere else. I mean, someone said, I think back to the moment when Emmett decided to confront him in the dot, asking why he came back to Degrassi, and he said he has a right to an education. This is entirely true. But he doesn't have to have it at Degrassi. Terry deserved an education in Degrassi. But she actually had her presence and all that. Rick needed real consequences for his actions combined with professional help and all that. So, yeah. Mary Mortician even said a good statement. Yes, but not at Degrassi. I'm of the belief that everyone's deserving compassion rehab. Regardless, he's no exception to the philosophy. Nonetheless, I believe he deserved a fresh start at a different school. He should never have been back to Degrassi. For one, students at Degrassi were bound to resent him because of what happened to Terry. Furthermore, Rick was being reminded of his own ways at Degrassi would have enforced the idea that this wasn't a good point. Had he started another school, he would have been able to thrive. In the end, one kid was left dead, 2 were permanently injured, and countless others were traumatized. Well, the only person directly responsible is the salient. I think that things could have played out differently under sets of circumstances. So, yeah, that's the big point. But, of course, I chimed in on this. This is how I feel. And At another school, maybe, but not at Degrassi. He might have done better going somewhere else, and keep in mind, it was his decision to go back to Degrassi against his mom's wishes. He didn't anticipate how the Degrassi population would feel when he came back. With that said, I feel that maybe a bit of the narrative would change if he did come back to school. If he came back to school, Raj put some restrictions slash circuit breakers on him. And it was widely known that if Rick had restrictions, and it was widely known Rick had restrictions. Radich never told the school slash calmed them down when Rick came back. All Radich did was chastise Emma for what he deemed was a stupid crusade, and possibly his inaction led to students deciding to take up Emma's Orange Ribbon campaign in a way to do mob justice slash take matters in their own hands, with Radich refusing to do something about it. An announcement or assembly to handle this matter would have worked out in some regard, but that mistake, coupled with him not taking Rick seriously after he wants Jimmy off the quiz team for bullying him, although Rick never said the magic words, led to his downfall. It always goes back to Radich. I know that I said, in a sense, I was supposed to be done with talking about Radich in any shape or form. But the simple fact is that, Radich was a bad guy in this situation. And Rick deserved a second chance elsewhere. I mean, it would be normal for, the writers to say something about Rick, saying that, oh, Rick's out of Degrassi, but he's going to leave Degrassi for good. He knows what's good for him and all that. The question I have on my mind, I have a couple of things about this hot take. Number one is, what would Terry have thought of this whole situation? I mean, it would have been nice for the writers to add, Terry maybe saying something off screen to Paige and them about Rick being abused and all that. I wonder if Terry knew about Rick's problems when she was at that other school. It was possible that Paige may have said something, but what if Terry said, it's not worth it anymore, he'll win out. And another thing is, it always strikes me, it's like the students beat up and harass Rick on school grounds, but off school grounds, what's stopping them from going after Rick? I mean, they were at the dot, which was off school property, when they harassed him, and Emma, saved Rick, quote unquote. But it's like, what stopped students from, possibly going near Rick and all that? Well, the one main reason, I think, is because of the police. They figured that if they get Rick off of school grounds, they could get into legal trouble themselves. I mean, yeah, Rick was a bad guy and all that, but they would have been the ones bit, because I think Mrs. Murray would have done something about it. And then the students would have been really in trouble. The simple fact is, everyone deserves a second chance, and all that, but not at the right time. I mean, Rick did deserve a second chance, but the fact of the matter is that Rick should not have done it at Degrassi. He should have figured that everyone at Degrassi was going to basically shun him and say that Rick's a bad person. What the fuck? You should be out of school by now. Just do it. The simple fact for Ricky is that he wanted to go back to Degrassi. It was his decision. His mom actually figured that Rick was not in the right frame of mind going back to Degrassi. She had the right idea. But Rick basically said, no, I got to face the lion's den. He probably figured that they were going to harass him and then lose their momentum. Never happened. It never did. Despite the Orange Ribbon campaign being shut down because Page's Clique shut it down because of Emma being so-called hypocritical, which this time Emma was not being hypocritical. It was the mob justice. To me, it's like, I thought after Rick got kicked out, I thought that Rick was expelled because of what happened, because, the box of stuff and all that in season 3. But remember, season 3 was my gap year before going to college, and then I went to college and didn't really pay attention to Degrassi that much. I had a spell of not watching Degrassi as much as I used to do. I did watch bits and pieces from 4 to 7, even the season 7 finale, when they honored JT and all that. The simple fact is that, Rick was supposed to be gone from our lives forever. I actually, for some strange reason, decided to try to tune into Degrassi for season 4, and the like one time one Monday, and then it turned out to be the episode that Craig has to deal with Joey. No, Craig has to deal with being with along Ashley. Ashley getting into the gang and the band. Pardon, but it wasn't the whole shooting thing. I didn't really pay much attention to the Degrassi shooting timeline for years. And then by 2017, when I decided to do my manifesto and try to put it on a Degrassi Reddit stuff, and found Degrassi Reddit in 2019, 2018-2019, it was great and all that. And then I'm taking video ideas from Degrassi Reddit and all that. Unpopular opinions, Degrassiisms, that kind of stuff. The simple fact is that Rick got what was coming to him. In no way am I justifying that Rick should be sympathized. I already did a Rick being sympathized. Degrassi Unpopular Opinion, and you can find it in the link in the description about the episode. About Rick getting sympathy and all that. It's the same answer. Should Rick be sympathized? No. If Rick had not retaliated from his bullies and all that, he would have won out. He would have been the winner. He would have got all of us. He would have said, surprise, motherfucker, and got us. But the simple fact is, Rick was so gung-ho on revenge in a sense. I mean, I can understand why he did the spray paint with the X to tell his tormentors, hey, you're tormenting me. How would you like to get the shoes on the other foot? Thinking that, okay, maybe they'll back off. Jimmy backed off. The others, Spinner, Jay, and Alex, did not. They were ready to destroy Rick at any possible time. They were upset that Rick would not take the hint and leave Degrassi. They were in it for the long drive, and they all faced problems. Alex never faced problems because Jay had a hard on for Alex, and Spinner, I guess, didn't want to get Alex in trouble. He was mad at Jay, although people probably figured that Spinner, when he finally blasted Jay in season 5, that was the good guy. He finally did it. But the simple thing is, if you go back to it, is Rick should never have come back to the school. Rick deserved a second chance, but not at Degrassi. I mean, Degrassi was going to take him out. And the simple fact is, Radich didn't do anything to help the students out in that situation at the start. He allowed Rick back seemingly with no consequences whatsoever, although Rick says he has to go back to Sauve. Talk to Sauve every so often. Okay. But why didn't Radich just announce to the school about Rick's presence and just say that, his hands were tied and all that? He tells the students that it works out. But in my mind, I think Radich was probably just upset over how people would perceive him if he had said that. Maybe they would go to the police trying to get Rick, destroy and undermine him. After all, he did tell Emma, I'm sick of your stupid crusades. Are you crazy? Domestic violence is not a stupid crusade. And that's possibly why Emma did the Orange Ribbon campaign. Although she also did it to try to gain friendship because she lost it with Liberty and Manny. Although it was Emma's fault in a sense. But the students took Emma's Orange Ribbon campaign wrong. Emma was just trying to highlight domestic violence and get Rick out silently. Okay, I can respect that. But then all of a effing sudden, she's just doing it to try to destroy Rick and try to win everyone's friendship. So anyway, yeah, Rick deserved a second chance, but not at Degrassi. I totally agree, and that's a definite hot take. And the simple fact is, Raj screwed himself over. A lot of people said, oh, it was because he couldn't handle the aftermath. But I wonder how many people also think that it was because of his stuff leading up to Rick. Like not listening to Rick in Time Stand Still Part 1. I mean, Raj heard what Rick said, and Rick didn't say anything about being bullied by Jimmy. If he had said that, I think Raj would have either taken Rick's offer to help him, or even said, if it happens again, let me know, because I want to see concrete evidence. And the concrete evidence sucked. And, I wonder how many fans would think that Radish's mishandling at the start was his downfall and all that. And to me, it's like, his problems, like yelling at Emma and all that. If Snake had found that out, Snake would have been very gung ho in destroying Radish's credibility and all of that. Snake didn't want to hurt Radish. He just wanted Radish to take accountability for his actions. Snake took accountability for his actions. But I figured that Raj was grasping the straws. And with Snake being his one true ally, he needed to keep things quiet because if it came out, then Raj would have lost the only ally, and I think he would have been done for. I think it would have been awkward. Like, yeah, he got canned. But the simple fact is maybe he stays on for the year and then he resigns and all that. But of course, Degrassi was not happy with the fact they had to fly him from California to Toronto to shoot scenes that he rarely was in, and then fly back to California. And I guess Dan Woods said enough was enough. But yeah, I know it's a tangent on Radish, but what can you do? It has something to do with Rick's thing. If Rick went back to another school and changed and proved he changed, then Degrassi would have been eating crow. But unfortunately, the person eating crow are Rick's parents, and that's all there is to it. Anyway.